California. It's been cold and warm, and I think not today, but next week, a lot of the week is gonna rain like crazy right before the holidays, right before Christmas. So it's pretty bananas. But welcome everyone to this Bisimoto Tech2sDay show. Thank you so much for joining me live, and I appreciate all of you. I have a vehicle and a dyno that we're playing with today. The team is working on some other projects, which is pretty cool, but I am charged with the task of dyno tuning this morning. This is a vehicle that's an Integra, earlier DA, with a full GSR setup, fully built on flex fuel, running both the combination of gasoline and ethanol. And what I do on projects like this, I have the opportunity to make sure the idle is absolutely impeccable, especially with some decent cams and a lot of great work onto it. Has aero fins, by the way. This is like a blast in the past, like it's been in a time capsule. Absolutely beautiful. And what I do is I do some very nice partial throttle tuning. The beauty of having a hub-based dyno, or what I have here, is that I can literally, using hydraulics, lock a particular RPM, let's say 2,000. The vehicle will not be allowed to go past 2,000 RPMs, no matter the throttle position. And then I gradually tape in, push in the accelerator, and I tune pretty much almost every fuel cell and ignition timing cell at 2,000 RPMs. Then I go to 2,500 and tune it well. And then I go to 3,000 and do it. And then I go to 3,500. And I go all the way up to, in many cars, in this case, 6,000 RPMs partial throttle. And what that manifests itself as is an impeccable driving experience, where it's just like what the OEMs did, just like what Honda does, Porsche, Toyota, Mazda, Nissan. They have the opportunity to have impeccable driving maps. That allows me to do the same thing. Roller dynos, which are more inertial, are a bit of a challenge. It doesn't allow you to have such an advantage because you're pretty much turning a large drum or a large flywheel, and you can't really limit the RPM and then artificially give it gas while tuning every map. So no matter what location or environment you see or terrain, you can have impeccable tuning within 1% to 2% correction of fuel. Well, this allows me that beautiful opportunity. Have some great interaction here. iPhone Eyeball says, BC, missed you, man. Haven't seen you live in ages. Well, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you indeed. Exo Truck says, oh, it's an ice day. Every day is an ice day, and a BEV day, and a hybrid day. I just love all type of cars. So, but thank you nonetheless. Speaking of liking, I was really ill yesterday. The team and I got together during the weekend, and we had a blast, and I was just really tired yesterday. So it was kind of a weird recovery day for me yesterday, but I'm back here in the facility. Exo Truck said, I wish more tuners did that. Most tune full throttle, 3K to red line, and fudge the rest. I'm telling you, there's so much power, even in drag cars, with, how should I say, what can I refer this to as? Intermediary power, power in between, transient power, whatever you want to call it. And I'll share with you what I mean by that. I used to do the same thing, Exo Truck, where I just full throttle tune my cars. Even my drag cars, I'm like, I don't care. I'm never going to even drive around, cruising around the town. I'm just literally off the trailer, drag racing back on the trailer. Until one day I was doing my burnout. I'm like, yeah, my car doesn't feel very good burning out. So I'm gonna tune partial throttle my drag cars. Do you know my car got faster? Something happens when you let off and floor it again. Even if you're flat shifting, whenever the power band falls down to an area briefly that you don't quite see, there's power, transient power there that needs to be blessed, needs to be embraced, needs to be optimized. It made, partial throttle tuning made my full throttle drag car a faster car. And then when I did burnouts, my burnouts were better, my burnouts were more consistent, my burnouts were better for recovery. Yes, when you do a burnout, if your tune is not proper partial throttle, you can overheat doing a burnout and get too hot to the line. Or you may have detonation before the line. There's so many things that can go on. So drivability is not only important for driving around, which a majority of us do when we're driving, right? But also for full throttle applications. Road race cars, even more important, because you're seldomly, depending on the track, you're seldomly at full throttle for a long period of time. Most of the time, you're partial throttle, tip in, tip out. It's just letting off. It's braking, engine braking. Partial throttle tuning is very important. So here's a car here, all the way from Atlanta, that is here to get tuned. And partial throttle tuning, I spend a good hour doing partial throttle tuning. Another great advantage is when you're partially throttle tuning, you can also break in the engine. So you have a brand new engine. Let's talk about a drag car again. And you can't break it in on the street. It's a drag car. You can't break it on the track. It's hard. This dyno allows me to do that. By the time I do get my idle and cool down set up, idle control maps impeccably done, do partial throttle tuning at 1500, 2000, 2500, 3000, 35, 4000, 45. By the time I'm done with that and letting off and giving it gas and doing, your engine's broken in. I get 2% leak down with pure braking oil. Yes, pure braking oil. When I use my dyno. So that way it's safer. I don't have to drive around town. A drag car is not possible. We usually have very small radiators and it's just not street legal. This is the perfect instrument to allow me to do that. So I'm ranting quite a bit, but I thought that would be very pertinent information to share with all of you guys and girls. John on TikTok gave me a #2 gifter badge. Thank you so much for that. And by the way, I have TikTok here, Instagram here, and YouTube live here as well. I tow a lot, says SO Truck. Most race cars don't, but I do partial throttle tune. It's a big deal for torque, miles per gallon, and EGTs while pushing down the miles. Absolutely. As I mentioned to you, even race cars need it. Drag cars need it. Road race cars need it. Now, maybe need is too strong a word. You can be somewhat successful drag racing without doing partial throttle tuning. I, based on my experience, saw my car get faster, and it makes sense. When you're shifting, it makes sense when you're burning out, and plus it made it easier for me to go to the pits, to and from the pits, right? So yeah, it's a win-win. What's up, homie, says Fair Water Marketing. Always appreciate your lives. We're building a new motorsports park in North Carolina. Let me know if you want to collab on a fun build. Open to try all ideas. Check out. Sounds good, Fair Water Marketing. We are down. My team and I, we love unique things, especially if your group wants something unique, we are the ones. Here, I'm surrounded by a Type R minivan, a crazy Tech2sDay, a natural aspirated 935. Where do you ever see that? I have a Jeep, a crazy Jeep Wagoneer S, a Neo EP9 all-wheel drive. Right there is a 72 Porsche 911 BEV that we're working on. Just really unique stuff. Nothing here is run-of-the-mill, nothing. So yes, I'll be more than happy. Fair Water Marketing, shoot me a DM. Let's make some magic happen. Dylan Jones, how do you say hate you on YouTube says, I like the car behind you. Thank you so much. It's a DA with some aero fins, turbocharged, running a Honda S300. Yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. I like the Honda S300. It's very user-friendly, very easy. Some of the challenges I have with that is at this point, I don't have the ability to do individual cylinder timing, which, guys, I'm gonna let you in a little secret when it comes to inline fours, especially Hondas. The firing order of 1, 3, 4, 2. If you think about it, just really wrap your head around the firing order. 1, 3, 4, 2. When number 1 cylinder fires, 1. The next cylinder fires is 3. Now number 1 is cooling down. Number 3 fires. Next to number 3 is number 4. Number 4 fires right next to 3. 3 doesn't get to cool down. Then 2. 2 also gets to fire. 3 still doesn't get to cool down. So while 4 is chilling, cooling down because nothing fires right after it, 2 gets to cool down because, you know, after 1, 3, 4, 2, it goes back to 1, but has nothing firing after that, right? Number 3 cylinder always runs hot. So I have seen power. I'm spilling the beans here. I've seen power and efficiency benefits in adding a little bit more fuel in number 3, 1 to 2%, and retarding the timing by a degree or so, removing 1 or so degrees on number 3 to keep it cooler. The engines love it. You pick up more power. It's a nice little inline 4 secret. So when I have S300s like on this car, I just can't. On anything that's direct firing, that's not distributor based, meaning even though you can have individual coils with this, it's more of a conversion unit, but it doesn't allow me to stagger or have individual ignition timing for each cylinder. But a standalone like an AEM or something like Link that I really like a lot, where it has direct firing, it has direct coil control, you can do all you want. You can even stagger with twin plug applications where you don't have to have them fire at the same time. It's just great stuff, right? So that being said, it's one of the setbacks of that. I don't have any knock controls. I have to be very, very careful what I do with this as well. At least with things like Motec, AEM, Haltech, Link, I can watch my knock using their sensors on the engine. If it's not there, I can add it. That's what I did on my inline 4 single cams. And I can literally tune out on unwanted frequencies and watch. And whenever I see any kind of knock throughout the RPM band, I can pull timing and add fuel to keep it safe. And then build in a closed loop protocol so that if there's a knock out there, really hot day, bad batch of fuel, some misbehavior, the engine will see it, the ECU will see it, and then automatically correct by adding fuel and retarding timing to keep the engine safe. So it's great indeed. So the S300 being a very popular one for either novice tuners or tuners who are not very comfortable with crazy software. It's very easy, the interface is nice to use. But there's some things, if it could add knock control and individual cylinder timing, I'll be a happy applicant. Also, one other thing I would like is if it had the capability of give me an individual, a separate map just for flex fuel. Instead, it has a 5-6 prong grid that kind of is a global addition of fuel and ignition timing. So anyway, for the price it offers a lot, I like to just see more control when it comes to engine management solutions. And what does that mean for me? I like engine management solutions that are complicated because it allows me to do a lot more things. I don't see limitations to layouts as a plus. I see it as a disadvantage, but that's just me. Seeing this makes me miss my SRT Grand Cherokee. Man, I'm telling you, Jeep has come a long way. Yeah, those SRTs, they had some heat. And this one that I'm looking at here, and I'm gonna do a video on it very soon because we're doing some crazy cool build stuff to it. Not only does it have massaging seats and a lot of great creature comforts, it makes 600 horsepower all-wheel drive. The thing is quick. 0 to 60 is in the mid-3s. It scoots, you know? High EV Paintball, High Lev Paintball gave me a number 3 gifter badge on TikTok. Thank you so much. Hey BC, is that deal with all-wheel drive? What kind of numbers is it putting out? It's a front-wheel drive, and it remained that way because that's what the client wants. I just finished a petrol, just baseline, because it's a high compression boosted setup. On petrol, we made 389 at wastegate. So I'm not done tuning it. We're gonna finish tuning that. I'll switch to the E85, do some higher RPM pulls, optimize ignition timing, optimize fueling, optimize boost control, which will be also tethered to how much ethanol is in the car. So in other words, without the client thinking, if he puts in 91, 93 octane, the more concentration of gasoline, the less boost it'll have and less power to keep things safe. And as it goes up in ethanol content, boost goes up, more and more power. It will have the most power at 85% ethanol, 15% petrol. So it's gonna be pretty good. Low Key Photography says, seen the Odyssey at JCCS this year. Love it, man. Thank you so much, Low Key Photography. The Odyssey is actually parked right there, right behind the DA. So it's pretty cool. But thank you so much for sharing your kind words. Number 2 gifter badge from High EV. Thank you so much. Number 1 gifter badge from Schoolo Styles. So much love, guys. Appreciate that indeed. What's up, BC, says Warrior Feller. Appreciate you, Warrior Feller, on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. Dylan Jones, Huetgu, says, and how long have you been working on cars? Wow. I did my first, how should I say? My first spark plug change on my Nissan 200SX in 1992. So I'd say 92 is the first time I started playing around a little bit with cars. But then I started going crazy when my Nissan was rear-ended, totaled out. Then I picked up a CRX, which I loved and changed my life. So from 93, I just went crazy, figuring things out. There were no part support, no Bisimoto existed then, no Skunk 2, no, what's a good company? 4Piston, no Honda. There was AEM, San Andres, Jackson Racing, JG Engine Dynamics, PYR, some of the shops like that, Dynamic Autosports in Irvine, but there was really no place you can go and just have a parts catalog of parts to buy. Mugen existed, but they didn't sell to us peasants, right? King Motorsports would, but then their stuff was really high dollar, couldn't afford it. So you kind of had to figure things out yourself. So I started playing around with things and talking to people like Nick Arias Jr., who's another good person? John Conciati from AEM, bless his soul. Another person who helped me quite a bit was Edith Kandarian from ISKI. Just some great individuals. Barry Meza from Trom. These are people who really just kind of helped me, show me the ropes. and helped me out a bit. So I was able to play around with experimentation. Guys, I blew up so many engines. I love experimenting, still do to today. Difference is my odds have changed. I went from a 90-10 to now maybe a 10-90. And that percentage I'm giving you is maybe failure to success rate. So if I did 10 experiments, nine of them would fail and one would work. And I remember going to Carlsbad. I dropped a valve at the track, drove back from Carlsbad to LA with 3 cylinders and a hole in the piston in one of them, smoking up. I got a ticket for being a gross polluter on the way back. I have melted pistons. I have butted rings. I have broken valves. I have lost valve seats in the car. I have over-revved. I've broken camshafts, broken crankshafts. I've split cylinders. I've split blocks. So a lot of people see my history in racing like, oh my God, BC, you're so fortunate. You won so many races, broke so many records, won so many championships. But that came with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, a lot of failures. And I didn't see failures as a bad thing. We had a pretty big team, Team Matrix, which I had to change the name after the movie came out because that name just became so ubiquitous and crazy after the Matrix movie came out with Keanu Reeves. So we changed it to Team 400M, 400 meters being more of an SI units of the quarter mile, which is 1320 feet. 400 meters is the proper designation in terms of SI units or Sistema Internationale, which is more what everyone uses around the world, except for us in America. We're still imperial here, but I digress. We had a big team. There was a time our team was up to 23 people. Many of my teammates in our race team, after they'll have one engine catastrophe, they quit. They're like, I don't want to do this. They'll go do something else. And that's okay. My teammates, and we were just hanging out this weekend with Taryn and Alex at the house. They can attest to the fact that whenever I blew something up, I started laughing. And people are like, what's wrong with you, BC? How are you laughing after you blew something up? And it's because I know I'm about to learn something. The best teacher I could ever have was failure. And that's a mindset that, as challenging as it is today, because I have a great team and we go through a lot of trials and tribulations with working and building and designing and figuring things out, some of the exciting things that happens to me, as stressful as it is, it's failure. And allows me to be better and better and better. Arlo says that's so true. Thank you so much for the kind words and a great mindset you said as well. And also for giving me a #1 gifted badge. Appreciate that indeed. So guys, if you ever come across failure in life, whether it's in personal relationships, in business, in life itself, look at that as the opportunity to learn and grow. It's quite amazing indeed. Having that mindset has helped me remain sane, but it's also allowed me to be successful in this realm by pushing through despite the hardships. Now, it doesn't mean I look for hardships. My best intentions are always there for the team and I to push forward and create wonderful projects. But you won't believe, even something as simple as today, we're doing axles on the Neo EP9, and Nick has been playing around with me on some axles, and he's come across just challenges every step of the way on something as simple as axles for the front drive unit, for the front motor. And we're finding ways to solve it. As we solve one, another challenge comes up. We solve something in terms of the thickness of the CV joint. Then now the bolts hit. Then we solve the bolts, and then now the boot hits. Now we solve the boot, and now the coupler hits. It's always something, right? So, but should we just give up and throw the car, light the car on fire with kerosene? No. We'll keep pushing through, learning from it, and getting that whatever joy we can from creating things, from creating opportunities for markets. Last week, Tech2sDay, I talked a lot about HDB kits, how they came from here. I talked about Jim Kinsler and how he was very instrumental in having me partner with them in creating the first Honda ITBs, and now Kinslers are everywhere, even generated a bunch of copycats, but that came from this facility. Carbureted drag racing opportunities, D-series protocols and parts, F-series protocols and parts, you name it. The first drag race adapter plate system from here as well. The first kind of Honda guy to do crazy things with Porsches, and now almost a ton of Honda guys are getting to that now. It's just wonderful, wonderful indeed, What was my very favorite car? Boats Nation? It was probably my first car I ever drove. It was a Peugeot 504, back home in Nigeria where I'm from. How is that? Boats Nation gave me a #2 gifter badge. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. K20 or B16, says Elston. I'll answer that question in two facets, Elston. B16, if you want to keep that period correct look for your Integra, CRX, Del Sol, Civic Si, even if you want to go crazy with some old EA setups and you want to have that nice nostalgia for the what is considered a small block Chevy of the Honda world, yeah, B16 is beautiful and the way to go. And there's something about that high RPM, small displacement engine, especially if you throw some great compression at it and tune it to perfection, it's amazing. However, if you want more bang for buck in terms of power and resources, the K20 is sick. I don't care if you're looking at the K20 from the earlier RSX to the K20C and the Type R that we have in the Odyssey here. That is the latest and greatest. Everything that Honda learned from the EW1 to the B series to the older CVCC to D, all was improved in the K series. The K series head flows more than anything of its predecessors. Because of the head flow, it has great potential for power. It's garnered significant aftermarket support. It is fantastic, you know? So it's just absolutely fantastic indeed. So it depends on what you want. Bang for buck and not caring about some kind of heritage. K20, K20C, do it. You want nostalgia, even though you won't make as much power as the K, the B16 is quite nice. Boats Nation says, I honestly never got into Hondas until I started seeing your builds in Super Street and Import Tuner. Thank you so much. I am so honored to have influenced you in a positive manner. So thank you so much for that. Honda owners, yay! Thank you so much, Warrior. Appreciate you indeed. Hello, Puma Rolls here on Instagram. I want to see the 935, says Low Key Photography. It's on the lift now. Can I turn this around? Let me see, can I turn around and show you guys? Okay, there's the Odyssey. And right down the left, next to the pink one, there it is. Gonna walk down as you speak. So I'm sorry for those of you listening to me on the podcast networks. You really can't see what I just showed. But trust me, it's a beautiful sight of the Odyssey Type R next to the K3V 935, the very first one I ever built. And then the 935 from a client out in Arizona who sent it here to get some lovely work done. Question says Puma Rolls are, what do you think of the Honda 5-cylinders and would it be possible to make a Honda V10? Are you talking about the Legend engines? I think they're amazing. I'm shocked they didn't pick up like how Volvos did back in the day. But it has a very unique sound, opportunity for amazing aftermarket support, but just didn't get as popular as we thought. I never had it on my radar because, you know, I'm crazy about taking engines that are unloved and making amazing, reliable power with them and showing the potential of said engines. Everywhere from the D series to the F series to the A series to even the Mustang EcoBoost engine when it first came out in 2015. So that being said, yes, I just love doing unique things. And I think it's very possible to do a Honda V10, either siamesing those or taking a V8 and expanding accordingly. I saw a very nice post. I don't know if Jonathan's the one who sent that to me, but at PRI, there was an LS engine that's now a V10 using the LS protocol where you can use similar camcast, pistons, rods, crank journals. It's just like an LS, just expanded, and even can utilize old school LS style gearboxes. So you can bolt up. That way you can put a V10 LS style vehicle engine into any chassis you desire using the same gearbox. It's pretty cool. I know space is an opportunity. I love the Odyssey, says Big Voodoo. Thank you so much, appreciate you indeed. I love it too. We have a Honda V8 now, says Big Voodoo. Yes, we do. All right. Hello, NAB Visual Design. By the way, Nicholas is a talented graphic artist. He helped significantly with the Jeep I just spoke about. That's his design with the Wagoneer. If you take a look at the 935 we built for SEMA, that was in this beautiful toy box, he designed that. My Model 3, him. My Plaid, him. You guys, Type R Odyssey, him. Amazing designer. I love what you do, NAB, and I can't wait to see what you create for next year's SEMA show, which I'm gonna hint to you guys is like the Moby, but a baby version. So he's gonna put his talents to that. I'm salivating in anticipation. Look at me, I have spit coming out of my mouth. I'm salivating in anticipation to what Nicholas is gonna come out with. Nicholas, get it to me. I need my design. I'm dying here. Anyway, thank you so much for being such a talented chap. I appreciate you for making my life absolutely amazing. Let's see here. Do you think the new Hondas will have the same number of fans as a Honda of the 90s? No, it's tough. And it's not because we Honda heads don't appreciate great things. It's just a different time. There's a lot more competition. From the enthusiast side, I'm seeing something very scary, which maybe all of you men and women can help me, all of you ladies and gentlemen can help me solve. And we need to, as an industry, do what we can to make this happen. The youth, you know, when I started, I was 17, 18. The 17, 18-year-olds of nowadays, from what I'm seeing, going to, you know, having, you know, a daughter in middle school, a daughter in high school, a son who's even in second to be third grade. Kids nowadays are not just interested in cars anymore. It's almost like the new modification, the new horsepower, the new engine swap is connectivity. Their phones are the new cars, I guess. How we used to play with cars, people now play with their phones and devices. For those who are even bold enough, and yes, I'm so ashamed to even say bold, those who are even bold enough to learn how to drive and get a car could care less about modification. They're more interested in the apps in the car and how they can interact with the machine. It's really sad. I couldn't wait to get home to change my clutch when it's slipping, or to go from a full-face organic to a 6-puck, then a 4-puck, then a 3-puck unsprung, then break my transmission and start over again. I couldn't wait to learn how to tune my car because the tuner I hired was blowing up my engine, so I had to learn it myself. As an engineering student, I couldn't wait to try a different carburetor, different injector, different header, different piston, build my own engine, swap my own stuff, play with my own kind of fuel. I couldn't, this is like, it's a passion I had that I still retain till today. Nowadays, you won't believe how many kids, if I have a get together at my residence, get dropped off who are teenagers, who parents have to drop them off and pick them up. It's scary. And I, within my family, doing what I can to get my kids involved with it. If you see me at any of the car meets, you see me rotating the kids. I go one day with one daughter, another day with another daughter, another day with another son. It's like I'm constantly rotating to give them exposure, and it's working. I'm doing my part to get them involved with the automobiles, and it's working. But we need to have a bigger audience. We need to make this happen, guys, you know? More to motorcycles, says Jeremiah, because the car scene has changed so much that it turns me off. And you're right, depends on where you live. It's still very strong in the Southern California area. I saw a list recently that Toronto is amazing, Miami is amazing with car culture, Austin is fantastic, Houston is just bananas, so is Dallas. I went to Scottsdale early in the year. It is ridiculous out in Arizona. So it depends on pockets. But there was a time we used to have meets in Bakersfield, and they were ridiculous. That doesn't happen anymore. Go to the Bay Area, it was crazy there. I don't see it as crazy as it was before. And of course, being in California, they almost vilify us enthusiasts, where you can do any mods to your car, you can get a ticket, or get your car impounded, or worst case, crushed, right? And I need to do this, guys. I'm telling you, I'm gonna say this in front of all of you, friends and family. I'm gonna make it my crusade to get into politics. Because people like us, I've been wishing for things to happen, and unfortunately for us, for all of us, and for those of you not in Southern California area, you may not see this as strong as we do, but we have people who have no business making laws influencing our car culture. If I were in the position to have the power to assist with our car opportunities here, we would have a rolling 25 year in terms of smog. And for vehicles that need to be certified for emissions, your car is fine if your emission standards coming out of your tailpipe are equal to or better than factory. Now you just put a filter on and oh my God, hell breaks loose. No, if your filter still allows you to have the same tailpipe emissions without hurting anything, do it. If you switch over to E85 and it's equal or better than the factory car, do it. Even if it's for a small fee to get a small certificate, let it be a $50, let it be a $100 fee every year for every modified car. But you get a certificate where you can legally have your car modified with E85 or petrol or an upgraded catalytic converter or upgraded lubricants, upgraded intake, turbo, supercharger, doesn't matter. As long as the tailpipe emissions are equal to or better than the car when it was new. You're good. That will solve so many problems. You know what happens? Now I'm on my soapbox. Do you know what happens to the contrary? Many people would put their car to stock, get it smogged. After they get that smog certificate, They put it all back to modified without any care whatsoever to emissions. One of the reasons why I love ethanol-based fuels because it's much cleaner. Even though I love EVs because I love the speed and the functionality and the lack of leaking and the reliability and lack of maintenance, I still have affinity for petrol cars. That's why I started. I still drive petrol cars. I still have fun with it. I love this Odyssey next to me. But even this Odyssey runs on ethanol. Because as a chemical engineer, I understand what I'm doing to the atmosphere if I run petrol fuel and I do crazy things with emissions. I want my cars to be clean. I want to have clean fun with my cars. Whether it's electric, hybrid, petrol, doesn't matter. I want to have clean fun, no matter what. So why are we treated as criminals for wanting to have a passion around cars? We're making cars our own. I'm so upset about that, you know? Yeah, you're right, Big V Voodoo. Smogging and dropping it back in. That's what people do. And sometimes, and people get busted, they'll pay exorbitant amount of money to get illegal smogs. What a waste. Instead of me giving a smog station $300, $400, $500, $600 to give me illegal smog, which may or may not work, above and beyond that, I'm doing something illegal. Above and beyond that, I am risking the license of the operator. Why would I want to do that? I'd rather pay $100. I'd rather pay $200 to the government to give me a certificate, a modification certificate, so I can have my car nice, clean, and authorized. That's just me. And then this whole classic cars, how often do we drive classic cars? Jonathan, where are you?
Yes, sir.
How often do you drive your van that you bought?
My Stepwagon?
Yeah.
I haven't.
He bought a step wagon. He hasn't even driven it. So why should I vilify him for a car that he barely drives? What year is it?
99.
90. Guys, I'm telling you, if I had the power, if I had maybe a 15-year rolling year, right? Old cars are not driven often. So I can expect Jonathan's step wagon to be this purveyor of pollutants or be a gross pollutant. He barely drives it. He'll go to Cars and Coffee. He'll probably him and his girl, him and the kids, one Saturday a quarter, right? So why are we punishing him for doing that? So guys, all I can say is I just need to get things going here at the shop, make sure things are proper, take care of my clients. I'm gonna do whatever I can, start at local level, maybe get to Sacramento, maybe get to DC. Support me when I come on this journey. I need to do this. I feel as passionate as I have been in creating product, as I am in creating an opportunity where we can be wonderful people in the automotive scene. And I want to be that voice for all of you, for all of us. I really do. What's your thoughts on using a J series as an all-motor platform, says Kirby373. I like it with one caveat. That J series, you can get a 3.5 with huge displacement. You can go crazy with the head force and get some flow. My challenge with the J series are the camshafts. The newer camshafts in the J series have press-on lobes which move so you can't really grind them or crazy profiles. For the earlier J series where it's a single core and you can still grind, when you have a performance J series camshaft, it still has a slide into the rocker assembly panel in the head. You cannot take a rocker cage off, put a cam in, and bolt it down. What's the problem with that? You can't go crazy with the lobes. If your lobes are huge to, let's say, get a 500 lift to make a ton of power, all motor, it'll be most likely larger, the lobes themselves will be most likely larger than the journal itself. And by the way, the journal is what the holder you have to slide into to put a cam into the head, right? Just like you would a V8 in the middle. Same thing happens on the J series rockers. If you want to go bigger in cams and you're protruding further than your journal, you may have to wet up your journal, make it bigger, and then grind or machine out your journal. Or go through the painstaking expense of cutting the head and, you know, kind of transforming it into a cap style head, which can be quite expensive. So boosting J series is what I love to do. I have a lot of customers who come here with Sanrails. We have one coming in a few days. I have it in my Odyssey as well. That's right here behind the DA. And that being said, I kind of like it for boosting because you're force inducing and taking advantage of the V8 and it's V6 and it sounds really good. My Odyssey sounds like a Skyline, a GTR. It's amazing. It's one of the best sounding cars I've ever built. Just absolutely magnificent. So I love it. But my camshafts are the challenge with that. If I had one other caveat with the J series, it would probably be the mains because it's 2-bolt mains. So if you put a ton of power to it, the mains tend to walk a little bit and you'll see it when you take off it take off the mains after some service, having a lot of fun. You can see some transfer material. I like 4 or 6 bolt mains. It's one of the reasons why I like the Genesis Lambda engine, because it has multiple bolt mains, 4 bolt mains on each one, 6 bolt actually to be correct. It's quite robust. So that being said, those are 2 things. But it's a decent platform. It depends on how much power you want to make. You want to make, in the 3s and 4s, you can do it. You want to go crazy and get closer to 600 horsepower, your limit is going to be really can't valve train. That's your limitation. Hello, Islands Build Customs on TikTok. Appreciate you indeed. I know for sure for BC is a mad scientist, so I do know it would be challenging. Thank you, promoter. All right, I welcome challenges. That DA is beautiful, says ITB Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin. Absolutely gorgeous indeed. And the aero fins are a true throwback to the 90s. Love it, Hello, BC from NYC, said Andre. Very nice interview about this. Thank you so much. Getting tuned by yours truly. How do you say your name? Shaiku says, do you make Bisimoto headers for D-Series engines? I used to. The challenge I had is I got knocked off. Poorly, by the way. Not even a good knockoff. I kind of just stopped doing it. I may have a few prototypes still here. But yeah, the D-Series headers that I made was accumulation of years of experience in racing. I had the opportunity to make it look more like a Formula One. One of the biggest problems that we had in the D-Series world is most headers had a collector under the car. And we love slamming our EFs and EEs. And if we hit a speed bump or some kind of debris on the road, it will smash our headers. So what I did was I designed a header that would wrap around the front of the motor and only downpipe went underneath the car. So even if you smash that slightly, no big deal. Your collector is nowhere near that. And then some of the things I learned as a tuner, as you see I have a car in a dyno, is I placed the O2 sensor system right up top. So as a tuner, you don't have to jack up the car, go in the tailpipe, and then you can just go into the engine bay, take up a cap, and put in your dyno O2 sensor. And also I gave multiple options for dyno opportunities. And also if you have an older D-Series with a single O2 sensor in the number 1 cylinder, number 104, I don't remember. You can just use one of those. Or if you have a newer one where it's in the rear towards the catalyst, you have a port there as well. It was great. And all the most powerful D-Series, including my record-breaking D-Series single cam, ran those headers. I had a ton of Honda Challenge guys who run D-Series, even Stefan Papadakis, loved it. Loved my headers, made tons of power unlike anything out there. Stepped, had a Venturi built-in collector, the most popular D-Series header in the world. Maybe I'll bring it back, only demand will dictate. Can you start it up, says Feels91. I'm not finished tuning, but it shouldn't be that challenging. Let me see what I can do. Guys, your wish, my command. Let's see. Yes, got my laptop here. So I start up now, I don't know if you can hear it. Big injectors, I just did a switch to E85. I'm going to play around with a little bit with the cranking fuel to get it very nice as well. So we just started that, got the dyno, and I came to you guys. So hopefully you can hear me, I'm going to turn it off. So it's very tame, has a full exhaust system, very sleeper-like until you get in boost and it's all hell breaking loose, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, thanks for that opportunity. Rico Suave said yes. Thank you so much. And Rico, thank you for the number 3 gifter badge as well. Let's see here. Oh, some great comments here. Hi BC, congrats from Portugal. Greetings, Paulo Thomas Studio, another very talented concept artist. Appreciate you indeed. Just going through some of the comments here. Do you prefer working on customer vehicles or your own projects? I like both. The reason Lambda Menace, by the way, this chap, I love him so much, good friend of Jonathan as well here, also is an individual who, he actually does a better job than I do. What do I mean by that? If you guys really pay attention to my builds, even if I'm doing Porsche 935s, I rarely deviate from the ethos of it. When I build an Odyssey, I don't have any crazy body kits on it, right? It still looks like a factory Odyssey except for that intercooler peeking through the grill. When I did a prologue, I didn't do anything crazy to the body. Lambda Menace is a guy who does everything I love to do, where he is a big freak when it comes to speed, but he's also very good with form as well. So he'll build something that's fast, but then the body is ridiculous. He has the speed that matches the look. I tend to be a little more muted with my builds. Even though I should go crazy with the bodies, I can think I went a little bit more with the Type R Odyssey here, but he's still very little, nothing crazy. But Lambda Menace, I love what you do. But anyway, I love building both. The challenge I have with my own cars is I have to build it like during spare time, so it gets a little more challenging. I also am a lot more forgiving with my own builds than client builds. So there are things on my cars I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's my car, I'll get to it later. But client builds have to be a lot more precise and a lot more put together properly, right? Most shops do the opposite. They build their cars amazing and build customers' car like crap. I'm kind of the opposite, right? Not that I do crap on mine, I just am more forgiving with my own builds because it's mine. I can always get to it. I'm constantly experimenting, constantly changing. You have no idea how many iterations I went through with this pink Porsche. You have no idea what iterations I'm still going with the Mobi till today. So it's pretty good, you know? What do you think about the Ford Fiesta Shogun, like the one Leno has? Awesome. It's like, that car was the bomb. That has a Taurus show engine in the rear. I remember buying a magazine, could that be Turbo Magazine or Car and Driver, where Jay Leno's car was on the cover. I love that thing. It was silver with the vents, just looks menacing, looks very European. I think that thing is awesome. Awesome indeed, you know? What's the best sleeper car? If you didn't know any better, I actually bought what I felt was the best sleeper car. And please don't kill me, you petrol heads around this. It was actually Model S Plaid, and I debadged it. And I remember going with Jonathan to Irwindale just to have some fun at the drag strip when it was still there. And we got kicked out pretty much the first pass. No one expected to do, I didn't expect to do like, you know, what it's supposed to do. It looked like a standard Model S. I finally got that car to run 897. So imagine an 8-second car that I drove to the track with air conditioning on street tires, raced it and drove home. Guys, I cannot build a street legal 8-second car for the price of a Model S Plaid. I just can't. So in my opinion, my humble opinion, that is the best sleeper car, period. From a petrol perspective, 897 at the Motor Trend Power Tour in Pomona, California. So it was a lot of fun. My first pass was a 931. The batteries were cold, got the batteries warmed up, and boom, 897. It was absolutely fantastic. So what would be a petrol-based or more commonly sleeper car? Probably a fast wagon. You see a Civic wagon, like, what is that gonna do? A piece of junk? Civic wagon? And boom, it's boosted, all-wheel drive, sequential gearbox, look out, right? So it's a really crazy sleeper. So you can't be Hondas. I keep saying Hondas because it's my first love. I love the engineering. Just did something recently with HRC. And by the way, if you haven't got your gifts, when you have a chance, go on Honda Racing on their website. They have a lot of great swag, from cost-effective pins to cashmere sweaters. It's great for family, great for teammates, great for workers, great for co-workers, great for bosses. And if you use Holiday 15, you can get a discount, 50% discount on there. So it's not too late to get some Christmas gifts in. And even if you love racing, or if you don't, even if the recipient is a big motorhead or not, it's just really stylish, very elegant, and very much tied to racing. So I love it indeed. But I digress. It's just an amazing excursion, amazing time that we exist with right nowadays, which is absolutely fantastic. It's just great. I have a good question here from Bottom Gear 69. He said, electro builds are cool. It would be my dream to make a Shogun electric and put Plaid motors inside, light and powerful. Yeah, that would be sick. The Plaid motors are a bit of a Siamese between two Model 3s for the rear and a single in the front. All-wheel drive is absolutely fantastic. And going back to the whole sleeper thing, I just couldn't build a car. I just couldn't build one. It's just not possible, you know? Do you have an all-wheel drive Honda Civic? I do, Feels 91. It's actually a 91 Civic wagon. The blue one, version 2 of the Bisimoto wagon. And I think I've made a decision this week to raffle that off, to do a giveaway. So maybe even you, Feels 91, could win it. All-wheel drive, use a CRV rear end with some racing diffs, clutch packs inside. So it's very, very nice. Jay Leno loved that, so you can see it on Jay Leno's YouTube channel. If you do Jay Leno Bisimoto wagon, you see it come up, him driving. He loved it. He felt it was like a crazy fast bar stool is what he said. He's driven a lot of my cars now I think about it. Has a sequential quake transmission, an action twin disc clutch, interior by SOS, 1552 wheels, wrapped around Toyo R888s, a nice size G, I think it's 1050 turbo from Garrett, reverse flow, PRL intercooler, 2200cc injectors, run-on flex fuel on an AM Infinity. Amazing build. Fun indeed. So yeah, you never know. God, time is flying. We've been doing this for almost 47 minutes already. How crazy is this, you know? Be all day, says Kevin. I'm sure he said. He says, be still king. That's debatable, but I hear you. Apex Dave, good seeing you, brother. Thank you so much for chiming in. Appreciate you joining this Tech Tuesday. Thank you. There's a guy that took two 24Ks and made a V8. Yes, we've been interacting quite a bit. That's a guy from, Nitron Racing? No, I'm trying to remember his name. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. Anyway, yeah, I've seen it. It's been out for a while. And I heard it sounds amazing. Let's see here. No way they care if it sounds like popcorn. That's true. Good afternoon, Dirty Harry Blue Steel. Thank you so much for joining. Motek N, great builder as well, says, us old school, the raw direct feel to the car, the new gen love tech and infotainment. That's so true. They really do love the technology. And I firmly believe it's because as kids, we absorb what we're exposed to, right? Because this new generation has been exposed to iPads and smartphones instead of, grit and smoke and gasoline. It's really our fault. I'm doing what I can. I went to Cal State Long Beach last month, spoke to the students about motorsports and invited people to come here. I'm all about getting the new youth involved in motorsports. It's a wonderful pastime, great way to make money, great way to enjoy, a wonderful stress reliever, great way to keep those creative juices going. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, Lambda Menace says no one in the car community wants to put their money or influence together. Jay Leno went at it alone. He did get some support, but once again, when it came to Sacramento, it took non-gearheads, non-scientists, people who have no business deciding our fate when it comes to automobiles to shut it down. He did get some support. Even SEMA was behind him. And SEMA, not just as the president, Mike Spagnola, but his whole power and conglomerate behind him. It was the powers that may be in Sacramento that stopped it during a session, and that was it. It sucks that the SB 712 Leno failed. Yep, it can still come up. I wish it could be something more national, but yeah, we have to start with California. We have to keep going. We can't give up, Everyone wants to gatekeep nowadays, not like it was in the early 2000s. I agree, Lambda Menace. And it's just crazy. The early 2000s was so interesting and so amazing for us, even the 90s. And that actually brings me to another topic I want to speak to you guys about. It's about air-cooled versus water-cooled versus a combination of the two. In my introduction to today's session, I did show 3 cars. I showed an RWB that we built for the chap who owns who owns Crooks and Castles. And Rob, great enthusiast, big Ferrari aficionado, big Honda aficionado, big into Porsches. He had us build a very nice wide body RWB for him with turbocharged and all that fun stuff. It's now changed a few hands. I think the new owner actually wrote to me earlier today. And that was a pure air-cooled 3.0 that we turbocharged with a full engine management solution that's sequential, as we updated from the crazy Motronic mechanical injection. Then the second one was the water-cooled 9916 turbo by yours truly with all the gold wheels and gold turbos. That right there, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated supercars that exists. All-wheel drive, 600 horsepower with just bolt-ons. It is an amazing Porsche water-cooled. A derivation of the Metzger engine that exists in air-cooled format in the RWB that Rob owns. The third one was the blue IROC Porsche of ours, which amazing vehicle built in 2008. That vehicle has a 996 M96 engine. So it's the water-cooled, natural aspirated 996 engine that's fully sleeved, cammed, valve train, pistons, rod. And that vehicle is the first Porsche engine I ever built. And that's a water-cooled engine impregnated into an air-cooled chassis. So you have those 3 options, air-cooled, some people refer to it as a sewing machine, the water-cooled Metzger from Porsche, and a water-cooled M96 with intermediate shaft. All the challenges were all addressed that we turbocharged instead with 997 gearbox. They're all different. And what has been my experience with those three? Air-cooled has this wonderful nostalgia. I talked about that akin to the B series. Has that nice sound that a lot of people hold near and true to. It is noisy, hard to keep very nice with emissions, and being a 2-valve head, not super efficient. But it is beautiful. It retains value. If I took my EV setup out of this and put in that engine, it'll probably add $100,000, if not more, to this car. To the value of this car. Maybe even $200,000 more to the value of this car. Just because the appeal. It'll be way slower. It would leak. It may not start each time. It'll require maintenance. It'll be way slower. I won't have that connection to the road that I have because air-cooled engines do tend to be a little loud and dampen that connection between man and tarmac. But people love it. It's very nostalgic and people want to really embrace that. And fast forward today, I've seen billet blocks of 4.0s that are air-cooled. I see people go to flat fan conversions. It's quite popular with those enthusiasts, especially those that are purists. However, the water-cooled Metzger, I love it. That's what we put in the pink 911 Classic. The 996 twin turbo takes all the shortcomings of the air-cooled engine and addresses it in a wonderful water-cooled head package. It is robust, very reliable. I think the only challenge with that engine is you can have an issue where there's a water pipe like it was glued in, like the fixture was glued in, and it can come off when the adhesive fails. And then when it comes off, it's right next to your rear drive wheel and it can splash water in your tire and spin out. So what a lot of people do is they'll drill and then put a rivet in there to prevent it from coming out and then seal it. And then it fixes that. So very simple, right? So that being said, it's been a wonderful journey to be able to do that. And the last but not least is the M96 Metzger. I mentioned earlier in this session with all of you that I am a huge advocate of taking unloved engines and really showing the potential. That vehicle now makes that engine now makes over 900 horsepower, never taken apart, still taking all these shortcomings, intermediate shaft, de-chunking, ring lands braking, all those were addressed. And now the engine is amazing. 4-valve head, ports are humongous, so it flows amazingly well. It's great. So in my opinion, if you're not really into nostalgia and you love efficiency and power, and even something more quiet but a better sound, you can't beat the water-cooled Porsches. The flat sixes from Porsche water-cooled are amazing, whether it's turbo or nitro aspirated. That's my take. Hopefully that helps. Any modification cert? Are you serious? Do you even own a gun? I do own a gun. I am serious. And a modification cert, Hayden, it's online, JS, is better than forcing us not to touch our cars, than turning us into criminals for modifying. For me, getting a fix-it ticket and possible fine, possible jail time for putting a filter on my car. And the filter is not doing anything detrimental to the environment. We're losing sight as a people with the purpose of why emission standards exist. It doesn't exist for the sake of emissions. Emission standards exist to allow us to breathe cleaner air. So why is it that I cannot take this car, this came from Atlanta, I'll be going back, but in California, why cannot I take this car, prove through a certification that the emissions coming out of tailpipe is better than what this was in the 90s, right? And being legal. Because what comes out of the tailpipe of this is cleaner than a lot of cars of its era. What's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that at all. The challenge is the people making decisions for you and I in Sacramento, in Washington, don't know a damn thing about cars. Don't understand. You have even lost sight of the purpose of emission standards. Or should we roll it back and just free for all? No, we want to breathe clean air. We want to kiss that clean air. I'm tired of hearing all these crazy alerts about air quality in California and in my city where I live or here in Ontario. I'm tired of looking at the mountains, it's all brown. It's ridiculous. I almost yearn for the time of how the air looked during COVID because there was no one out and about and everything was beautiful. We can eat our cake and have it too. By allowing us the opportunity not to vilify modifications can allow us to have a better environment for all of us. Landish Homie 247 agrees with me by saying, yep. Blown 68 Chevelle, love the name, says, just give me a number 3 gifter badge. Appreciate that indeed. It's great. It's great. And my good friend James is here. Give me a hands up. Thank you so much, Africa. Appreciate you indeed. How much power is the DA making? I'm not done with this session yet. The Integra's in the back. Hello, Flex. Good seeing you at SEMA. So great running to you there as well. Appreciate your candor and kind words and you know. Kevin says, just let me borrow the wagon for a week or so. Maybe I'll have you do that to give me some content. Maybe I will, you know. NAB Visual says, what do you think of the SUV like the VW Tiguan 2.0 Turbo 4x4? Does it have the potential to become a sleeper? It does. I just haven't played on the powertrain to know what it's capable of, especially the all-wheel drive assembly. Can it handle 4 digits of power? I don't know. Do you think it would just be as easy to make a CRX all-wheel drive? No, it won't be as easy as the wagon because the wagon already has a tunnel for the shaft and the rear is already set up for that. As a matter of fact, the wagon I have now is a two-wheel drive that converted to all-wheel drive, and it had minimal invasive qualities to make that happen. But a CRX, it is a little bit invasive. You definitely have to have a drive shaft go down the center of the vehicle. John over at S Club is doing a plat swap into a classic Rolls Royce. That's a great idea. I know that the S Club guys love taking chassis that are already complete and then putting bodies on them. They do that with the CLKs, with the old school Gullwings. They did it with a Model 3 and a Gullwing as well. And now doing it with a classic Rolls Royce and a Plaid, I think it's a great idea. Very good. What we did with our own classic Rolls Royce, we were able to impregnate a large drive unit into the rear while keeping everything factory. Much more simpler than taking a whole body. A whole body is a lot of work. But I think that'd be a wonderful project nonetheless. I think it'd be fast and fun as well. Well, guys, our hour is up. I do have to fly, but thank you so much for joining me at this session of the Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. By all means, if you haven't joined my YouTube channel, because I do put some really cool things there, when we're done here, please go and subscribe. And as you look for gifts for the holidays, do not sleep on all the wonderful swag located at the Honda Racing website. So HRC, Honda Racing Corp, has this wonderful array from cost-effective to upscale, all race-inspired, all wonderful, with a 15% discount if you do type in Holiday 15. So enjoy, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Have a pleasant one. Cheers. Bye-bye.